So in this video, what we're going to do is load up a scan of this cockpit and show how you can take a scan of the cockpit and extract information from these instrument panels and create templates in order to create a new instrument panel with new digital gauges. So like this has lots of different instruments that are analog that they want to like convert and modify, right? So this is a certain generation of a plane that I'm not familiar with. And what we want to do is go ahead and extract all those locations in the layout and then go ahead and create a new layout and a template for them to convert it over. So in order to start out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some regions manually here. And the reason why is I'm going to select this face of the instrument panel, because this is technically like a flat plane. And I'm going to reuse this flat plane over and over again. So that's the reason why I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And then I'll come across to this side as well. Much of this is the same flat surface that's supposed to be the same flat surface. And I'm just holding shift and I'm creating regions. Now, if I go too far like that, I can actually toggle over to the rectangular and I can hold control just like you would in any other software there. And if there's some areas that I really want to remove because I'm not sure about if that's completely flat or if it would throw off my flat surface, I can do so. So I could just visually inspect a little bit, make sure if that's good for me, then I can come over here and hit insert. And if you think about it, this is kind of like setting up a save selection. So when I come back, I can just click on it over and over again and use it. Now, because it's a little warped, right? This is an old plane. So I can come over and say that has to be a plane. So it'll dictate that it is. Now, it looks pretty flat, but you know, for metrology purposes, it's not completely flat. So now what I'm going to do is toggle over to my sketching, and I'm going to select the plane here, and then I'll say that I want to create a mesh sketch. So the idea is I have a polygon scan that came from the scanner, and I can actually intersect this plane anywhere through the mesh. But you'll notice because it's a little warped, it kind of like bisects over and over and over again, like in and out, because it's not perfectly flat, right? So that's where our software has a really interesting piece of functionality, the silhouette. So I can actually change the thickness there of that plane, and it will create a silhouette. And you can change the size of this plane there to make sure it intersects the entire. Like if you, and again, if you cared, I don't really care that much about this, but like I can drag this up and make it so it doesn't intersect those other areas. So once I'm happy with my mesh sketch setup, I can come in here and I can turn on and off the mesh, just a shortcut here. And I can go ahead and kind of outline the shape that I want to create for my template. So if I come over here and I say I want to fit a line to that area, you'll notice that I'm actually just drawing, selecting areas and making a line there. And the same thing here, I can come over and I can select all of this information. I can say fit a line to all that information, and it'll best fit a line there. And then now, if I want to just draw a line perfectly horizontal, and then come down and snap it to the data there, and then we have some tools here where you can say resize, and I can move this back and forth, and I can kind of like eyeball a tangency point for this multi-arc segment here. And then over here, I can come over and I can draw a vertical line and snap it like that, like so. And then do the same thing where if I wanted to kind of eyeball that tangency point and just say resize down to here, I can do so. Now, this is multi-radius arc. You can do a few things. Like I could draw this as a spline, or I could use the tangent arc. This is the way I kind of like to do it. So I'll just kind of identify some common radii like that. And you'll see that you can kind of zoom in and out. And see, that part of it ends up looking like it is kind of, so I can undo back. It's not really constant radius. So like it's up to you. You can make the decision like what you want to do to make it like a one radius like that, or make it multiple, or this is what, if I was going to use a spline, you can actually come over here too. And I can click on that point. And if I wanted it to be a spline, I could just draw and snap directly to what's there. And draw a spline there. And then if that spline has to be tangent, you can grab this and you can say tangent here. Oops. And you can make it tangent, force tangency to that other curve. And the same thing goes down here. If you double click on the spline, you can grab the handle and the line and then say tangent. So that will force tangency. So I kind of did both options there. I went ahead and drew arcs, constant radius arcs, and then we like switched over to a spline there. So now if I want to go ahead and trim these guys together as a corner trim, like that. And then now I have the outline, right? So there's the outline of the bezel. Now let's locate where all of these circles are. So just like we were talking about, you can just draw things out in space, or you can window in their location here. So if I just window in and fit these circles so that we know where those are, and you can get more accurate depending on how concerned you are and what your tolerances are. And you'll see if I window in that whole, if I just click on the line, it includes all that area. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I can window in manually off the get-go, or I can select the whole thing and deselect. It just depends on what you feel like. Now, something like this, I can just click on the entire circle. It'll best fit a circle for me. That one's pretty close. With this one, this is kind of how I do it, where I just look for good areas of the circle and then best fit a circle to it. Like so. Then double click. We'll accept a circle. So see how fast you can kind of lay this out, especially if you know what you're doing. If you've learned the software and you know what you need to extract from here, it goes pretty fast to be able to just window in and select all the areas that you're looking to fit. And then you can window in this guy. We'll do all the easy ones first. Like that. Now for these guys, because of how it like bisect the polygon over and over again, you actually turn on the polygon. You can kind of visually see where it needs to fit. So I can do a couple things. I could just manually kind of come in and visually select what I want on these. But if you have like a scenario like this where it's like, that's a little too much there. So you can come in and instead of doing a circle where you best fit, you can do like a 3-point circle. You can say, I want to fit to this, this, and that. And then you can edit these after. We haven't really talked about that yet, but I can just pick this up and drag it and move it around, and then even drag the edge of the circle to make it bigger and smaller so I can eyeball where I really want that to be. Now, what we're doing here is just capturing the existing locations of the stuff. So I don't care about making all these equal, but if I was going to design something, I would actually go ahead and dimension these circles out. I'd make them all horizontal. I'd put them on the same line. I would make them even, all these different things, right? But for the sake of what we're doing today, I am just capturing the locations of those, because we're going to make a template from that that allows them to kind of convert over to different instruments. And I don't necessarily have all those instruments in front of me right now to locate. So I'm basically, the template is just going to convert over to a 2D template for somebody to then lay out where they want everything to be. And this is going to show them where everything currently is, right? So this will have a nice setup to show them this is where all the buttons and dials are right now, and then you can put it wherever you want from there. And then here's an example. I wasn't sure about what's kind of there, so I can look and say, oh, okay, I see. Let's go ahead and grab a 3-point circle from these 3 points there. And then switch back to normal 2. And looks like we got kind of what we wanted. So that button's not sticking exactly straight up, right? That's what you're witnessing there. Now let's go back to this. And you can hide and show the poly, right? So if I want to, I can go ahead and come in here and fit a circle. So let's switch over to the other circle. So there, we captured that. And then we can go ahead and trim the stuff away here. So we'll do a corner trim, power trim. Let's do the powerful trim. And because I have all these other circles, it's making a pain in the butt to get rid of those, but whatever. Now we'll go ahead and fillet that in. So there we go. We've laid out one side of the instrument panel. So if I exit that and show, we just drew that directly over top of that mesh. This can be used as a template to lay out and bring in. You can create drawings, you can do whatever you want, or just print this out to lay out a new one if you were going to replace this, right? So there's the first section.